Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm gonna share with you guys my towing experience with my 2022 Tacoma. Okay, so this thing is rated for 6,500 pounds towing capacity, and between trailer and machine here, I have a total of 6,300 pounds. Okay, so 6,300 out of 6,500. So I'm right there at, right near the max capacity. And in fact, usually, you know what, when you factor in my weight, I'm right about 6,500 because you're supposed to factor in your own weight, right? The weight of any passenger. So with my weight, I'm actually right at the gross capacity of this Tacoma. Okay, so I'm going to share with you guys my experience. Let me get in the cab here. So first thing I'm going to say is tongue weight. What I did with this is I figured out what I did. I put down the tailgate here, and I've have figured out that I want about 650 pounds of tongue weight. And prior to hooking up the trailer, what I've done in the past is I've measured that 650 pounds of tongue weight is about 34 inches from this point of the fender here to the ground. Okay, so that's how I know I got the right load on my rear axles, so that it doesn't, because if you got too much tongue weight, that's no good. If you got too little tongue weight, you can, the truck can become very unstable. Okay, so let's get inside the truck. And most important thing that you can have if you're towing near capacity is this scan gauge, right? I think that's the scan gauge. So the T1 is the temperature going in, T2 is the temperature coming out. Okay, so generally speaking, you don't want to get your temperature above 220 degrees for a very long period of time, because that starts cooking the oil and starts breaking it down. Okay, so 220 is kind of like your danger zone. Now I towed this for a total of about 18, I think maybe 19 miles, because I think I when I set the speedometer, I had already gone a mile. So about 19, let's say 20 miles is how far I went with this load. So I didn't go far, but I did do elevation, right? I started off at about 1,000 feet elevation, and right now I'm at 2,000 feet elevation. So I did most of that climb was on the highway. So normally when I'm driving, like during my normal driving, my temperature here usually hovers around 200 degrees. Sometimes it'll even go to up to like 215, right? On the out, the in will usually stay lower, like usually 190. So it is very typical for me to get up to a temperature of 212, just going up that elevation, just with the truck alone, with no tow at all. Okay, so with the tow that I had today, for most of the tow, I was I was at 220 on the hot side, which is the temperature I think coming out in the pan, and so for most of it I was like 220. At the worst point, I think I got up to about 235, but that was only one of the numbers. The number going out. So the number going in was much lower. It was like 215, so that means that it had time to cool down, and it kept that temperature at 235 for a very short period of time. And the key point is, like when I was going up the hill, I was like at about 45 miles per hour. Okay, even dropping down to about 40 miles per hour. I put the flashers on. So that's the thing. If you're going up a hill and you're seeing your temperature starting to rise, back off on the speed. All right, don't try to speed up the hill. Back off on the speed. I went up, so it touched about 235 degrees. I stayed there for a very short time. As soon as I got to a little bit level ground, it dropped back down to about 220. And when I got on level ground, then for most of the time the temperature was around like 212, 210. So bottom line is that, yeah, the 6-cylinder Tacoma, it was a 2022. Yeah, I mean, it will definitely pull that 6,500 pound load for short distances, right? So like I said, I did about 20 miles, but it was 20 miles of a good portion of that was hard work, right? Because I started off at 1,000 feet and I got up to 2,000 feet elevation. Okay, main thing is you got to have the scan gauge. You got to watch your temperature. Don't let your temperature get up above 220 for too long. Okay, and if it does go above 220, definitely, like, if you see both numbers go above 220, right, like, pull over, put the car in like neutral, and just let the engine run and let it cool down. You gotta let the engine run because that's how it cools down. This Tacoma has like a radiator basically on the transmission, and it cools it down. So you gotta let the engine run and cool it down. So definitely, if you see both numbers above 220, or even at, stop, pull over, let it cool down. If only one number goes over 220, I think it's got enough time for it to cycle and cool down. And like I said, when I was going uphill, I kept it at 40 miles per hour. I mean, 44. I never went above 45 miles per hour. I'm going to turn off the ignition because that will give us some more data over here. So let's see, trip summary. So we didn't. Oh, so it was actually 19 miles. Average fuel economy about 12 miles per gallon. Okay. So that was the how much how we did on fuel. So that's interesting. About 12 miles per gallon, pulling this weight up an elevation of about 1,000 feet. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Drop some comments. I'll talk to you all soon. Hey, it's also worth mentioning trailer brakes, right? So I got double wheels back there, trailer brakes over here. So for most of the trip, I had I had the brakes set at 8 out of 10, and also the gain was set for 8 out of 10. Okay. Now at some points I did see it was like grabbing a little too hard when I got on the flat ground. And what I did is at some points, like when I got off the highway, I dropped the gain to like 7. Okay, so yeah, I definitely didn't need to max out my brakes. When I'm trailering and I don't have any load back there, what I'll do is I'll change the brake numbers. I'll bring that down to like 2, right? The brake, I'll keep the brake, not even 1.5. I'll keep the brake. Okay, but yeah, when I'm maxing this thing out, I'm at 8 out of 10.